Let's bring in Dr. Redfield right now. It's good to see you, Bob, as always. Thank you for being with me.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Glad to be here.
So let's deal with the past, and then we'll get to the present. Why do you have a level of confidence that you can work with Bobby and be part of Trump land and get anything done?
Well, I think you set it up. You know, the real issue for me is the opportunity to transform our health system, which right now is a disease system, to a health system to try to make America healthy again. We lost over 1 million people from COVID. And the reason we did is we're a very unhealthy nation right now. Probably more than 40% of our nation has obesity or prediabetes or hypertension. And it really is time to focus on health, which the target is to go after chronic disease and more effectively manage it on the one end, and on the earlier end, really put a variety of preventive steps in to try to prevent chronic disease. And I think Kennedy is really passionate about this, about making America healthy again. And I think Kennedy finally deciding to partner with President Trump is an opportunity to really develop, you know, you use the term, and I agree with it. I think it's a moonshot opportunity to change our focus in healthcare from disease to health and health.
Unpack a two-part question for me then. What gives you the confidence that Trump can marshal the discipline, the consistency, and the political skill to have an all-government initiative for you guys at home? That means every agency that has anything to do with children health, the supply chain that goes into it, the clinical side, the regulations of those, all of it has to work together in this ambition. It's why Biden's idea of getting rid of cancer, it hasn't really wowed us in terms of its ability to do anything. It's a very hard task. And Trump's guys want to cut the CDC because they want to close the footprint of government. So how do you get a sense of confidence when you need so much and they want to cut what you have?
Well, there's no doubt in order for this to happen, we need to have a very strong and robust and actually a very expanded capacity at an agency like CDC. My own view is that that Kennedy is really extremely passionate about this in particular. And I think, you know, I reflect back on his uncle in 1962 when he said that we were going to have a man on the moon by the end of the decade. And of course, when he said that, we had no idea how to do that. We didn't have the science how to do it. Right. We didn't have political will how to do it. But somehow Kennedy saw that vision, and I always said, saw the possible, and then led our nation to act. And by 1969, we put a man on the moon. I think we're at the same stage for those of us that really believe that making America healthy again is possible. And I think Kennedy's passion on this issue right now, combined with, I think, a commitment from the president when they've gotten together, this is a real opportunity. America, as I say, lost over 1 million people, you know, from COVID, and you had other countries like Taiwan that lost less than 5,000 people. What was the difference is that we're just a sick nation, and it's time for our children. And I have 14 grandchildren now. It's time for our children, and it's time for even those of us that are older. We really have to turn around what the major impact of our health system right now, which is this enormous epidemic we have of chronic disease. And I just think it's very believable. I'm in my 70s now. I probably got another 10 or 15 years of productive life as a doctor. I'd like to finally see us change the focus to health. And that's why I teamed up with Kennedy, because I think he's passionate about, he believes in this. And the most important thing about him and this issue is he believes it can be done. If you don't believe it can be done, we should stay on the sidelines.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.